fridge shot. So artsy. There's my old fish Cuddy. What an actor. Awful shot. I didn't care about lighting. I still don't. Hi, I'm Adam Thiry. I am the videographer and editor here at JAC Creative. So I've always been interested in movies ever since I was a kid. I would watch them all the time. But it wasn't until like DVDs started to come out and they would have behind the scenes features and director commentaries where I started to get into like the actual filmmaking process. I just started editing little random photos or little videos I mean my friends shot and just like putting music to them, and I would just do that. I never thought, oh, this could become a career for me. So I made this video that we're about to watch. I think I had to been a sophomore in college, probably like 19. It was for an intro to editing class, probably like 2012. I haven't watched this video in years, so we're gonna go on this fun and absolutely terrifying journey together.
What's up, guys?
This is my cousin, Matt Hawkins, who was kind enough to star in this for me. He didn't have to do that, so I appreciate it.
All right, good. No one's here. Now I concentrate.
And there's procrastination.
Studying again.
So already when I'm watching this thing, I'm like, good God, so many cuts. But if I do recall, the point of the class was you had to show that you knew how to do a close-up, into a medium, into a wide. If I didn't have those rules, I would not be editing it that way. I'd probably be just doing like really long takes. That's how I like it, more of like a documentary feel to it, really handheld, and I think it's just like. Like for this scene example, which one, 2000, it's funny now, but like 2012, you would be distracted by your laptop and not your phone. Now watching this, I'm like, I just pull his phone out, I like to keep looking at the laptop. But I would not, I would have it. He's looking down his paper, we, whip the camera to the laptop, whip back. I think that's funnier, and it's getting some more of my style. But
May as well get it out of the way, right?
I guess the one nice thing about doing all these cuts, I'm just looking at it, but I'm like, I was definitely saving myself if I got like backed into a corner or something was like jump cutty, which back in the day, kids, jump cuts were bad. Now they're encouraged, but back then it was very bad.
Only take a minute, nothing too long. All right, so back to studying.
I love this because I didn't have like a way to have like a stomach growling sound effect, so we're just like, look at your stomach, and hopefully people will get that you're hungry. Oh, the cool fridge shot inside the fridge.
Nothing, really?
So artsy. No, we lay it on again with a cabinet shot. That's necessary. Emo drawings in the background. God, awful shot. I didn't care about lighting. I still don't, but because of that, the shot looks awful.
After this, I really need to study.
We had one shot to film with that sandwich, so I'm sure we got that. The video had to be no more than 6 minutes, and I was actually afraid that I didn't have enough material, and so I had the shot after he eats the sandwich, he goes to put the knife away, and he sees all these dishes in the sink, and then he's like, I can't concentrate with this mess, and then we just set the camera up and he cleaned everything and you cut it, so it's like boom, 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 like the different plates are being swapped out. And it was a really cool shot, but then when I edited it all, it was like over 6 minutes and I was like, oh, something's gotta go. And that shot, I loved it, but I was like, you gotta go, because it was just easier to have him eat the sandwich and then walk out of frame than walk past the clock. So sometimes you gotta kill your darlings, you know, it's tough. This is funny too. So throughout it, he keeps looking at the clock, and I remember being like, okay, like we're gonna have to go back and, you know, keep changing the clock on the oven. But it was taking us so long to shoot that we didn't have to do that. We just would go back and the time, you know, it just took so long that the time kept changing. So we didn't have to.
Keep them missing Parks and Rec.
Missing Parks and Rec. See how old this is.
So while you're celebrating,
And I moved the camera to show he's neglecting his homework. And I didn't know how to get out of that scene, so I just faded to black.
How do you not know that?
Just atrocious lighting. It's fantastic. Also, I'm very music oriented when it comes to editing, and usually I have a song in my head while I'm editing, or like already know like beforehand, like, oh, like we're gonna like use a song in these specific shots. And I remember for this in particular, the song, I think it's called Hands and Feet. It's in not Pulp Fiction. It's in Punch Drunk Love, the Paul Thomas Anderson film. And I just was like, that was kind of my driving force, was that music was like the kind of the idea that inspired all of this. So these scenes are very much like while I was making them, like, yeah, Hands and Feet is gonna be. Once again, like bouncing between, it had to be just an editing thing. Once again, I think it's just better if I stayed with one shot and just had him doing various things, like he was jumping back and forth. I think I was just making sure I was covering my tracks so I wouldn't get like a D on this. And once again, I think we were just throwing ideas out at him and telling him to do it. Oh, there's my old fish Cuddy. What an actor.
Hey, Matt. Hey, check out my
Doesn't close the door. Call of Duty.
Nice.
Back when Call of Duty was cool.
Yeah, I do, but I should probably keep studying, dude.
How long have you been studying for?
I studied for like 2 hours already.
Sounds to me like you need a break.
Yeah, I probably do.
So then, yes.
God.
Let's pop that bad boy in.
I was just feeding them lines. We didn't have a script. So I would just be like, okay, Derek, say that yes. Hog didn't say, let's pop that bad boy in, which is the line that still is in my head sometimes, because it's horrible. And I made him close the door, so and I said, hey, you gotta close, like, we gotta close that door for, you know, continuity. And he kind of like looks back at me, like, very happy, because I was just being, like, who cares? Once again, fade to black, so I don't have it.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Actually, I do think we had them playing video game montage once again, and went on too long, so I just had to do the cop out, fade to black.
What are you doing? There you go, study, man.
Just once again,
What are you doing?
atrocious,
There you go, study, man.
atrocious lighting.
Paper to write.
Seriously, we just started playing. Come on.
Sorry, man. Gotta write paper.
I just
Come on,
like,
dude. Don't go. Come on.
so, see, once again, yeah, now it's 10:11. It was literally taking us over an hour to film. So, and then this scene, I remember, like, we shot it, whatever, go to the, I'm editing it, and Hawkins kept fiddling around with his hat. And so there was like a part where when I cut back to him, he had his hat on forward, and the whole time he had it on back, and I was like, ugh. So we had to go back and reshoot this, recreate it, and have him flip the hat on correctly.
If I'm gonna cram, I'm gonna need some tools.
Once again, like the music, I need to like. Let's grab my things. Starts to get- So before Wes Anderson was a hack caricature of himself, I was a big fan of his, and he would do these like dolly shots, and we always didn't have a dolly, but I was a big fan of the original Evil Dead, and I remember seeing a behind the scenes, I think it was a video, they were filming a scene and they had just like the cameraman on a blanket, he was sitting on a blanket holding the camera, and two people were just dragging him. And I was like, okay, like I can do that. So for this shot where it's doing a dolly on the table, we just put a camera on a dish towel, and someone kind of held it kind of steady, and then the other person dragged it. So I don't know, I love things like that where you just like, you want to have the shot and you don't have the best equipment, but you know, there's ways you can do it. You know, still a good shot. I still love the shot. And then I remember, so I think we were holding the tripod, and we had the camera, and then we walked it together in Zoom. Once again, like we didn't have a crane, we didn't have a dolly, so like that's what you do. Like, you know, that's how we figured that out.
How long was I asleep? Oh. I missed my class.
And like with most of my things, the hero of the story does not succeed. He finally cracks down to studying, and he passes out and misses his class. So, therapist, you can watch this and tell me what that says about myself. But yeah, that was procrastination. And so I think what I like is that I still am very like human focused stories, or like something that someone can watch and they can feel like it is relatable to them. I remember with this video when I showed it in class, and I remember it got like a lot of laughs and people like coming up to me and being like, oh, like that's the story of my life, you know, and I still really bring that into my work. I think I'm always more interested in is the story relatable than is this a cool shot. So I always am still looking at things like more of like, does this make sense to the storytelling, instead of it being like, oh, but it's going to be really cool. And I'm still proud that I do that. So that was fun. That was good. Yeah, I'm happy that it still holds up. I think look-wise not, but I think as far as the story goes, it still holds up, and I'm proud of that.